Well, welcome back, you guys. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. I hope to earn your subscription. Well, what's on the agenda today is she's time to take the Trapline trailer there and well, we're gonna load it up with our gear because today's October 31st. It's Halloween and tomorrow is November 1st. She's the opening of my Marten season, so I'm a little getting late to the game here. Like, I should have had this done weeks ago, but there's just so much stuff going on out here that I don't know, everything gets left till the last minute. So yeah, well, I don't know, we're gonna tool it up and put a whole bunch of traps in our boxes and our baits and our lures, and we'll just get it all ready. And then once we're done that, we're gonna go for a drive over here and we'll go check a couple beaver traps quick. So we've been doing pretty good on the beavers so far. It's been a good fall so far. Could have been after a few more, but then again, time is always seems to be too short. And now that we're getting into later fall, we're losing a lot of daylight every day, so that's the only downfall. But we'll get the trailer up and ready, and then we'll go over and check a couple beaver traps. Stuff that I just set yesterday. I never did a video setting them or anything, but we'll go down, have a look after, check them out. It was cold again last night, probably down to minus 13 or 14, I think it said this morning. It's still very chilly out right now. Even in the skin shed here, it's only like +1 in here. So we got the fire going, and yeah, it should be a good afternoon here. So I think up front here, I'm just going to put some ratchet straps, some other tie downs, a hammer, and then I can put my chainsaw and stuff right here. And then this side toolbox, I think, is just going to be some random tools and stuff. And then the other side, I think I'll do just strictly just trapping stuff, some wire and cutters and traps and whatever. But that's kind of the plan, but plans always change. Put my little saw in here. It's a little Stihl MS-250. It's actually one of my favorite saws, and it cuts pretty good too. It winds right out. It's got some high RPMs. It's I don't know. You can go up a couple more sizes in the saw, and that little guy there, he keeps up to the bigger saws too. We're just going to kind of go through the shed and just take random stuff out that don't need to be in there and start loading these toolboxes. I have a standard and a metric wrench set. Maybe I'll put my chain, a chain and a come along in here. It'll have to go in the front. One shorter one and put a longer one in there too. Put a small bottle jack in here too. Throw another sling in here. I got quite the surplus of all kinds of miscellaneous crap. Be good to clean some of it out of the shed and get it out of my way. Yeah, the other side, I'm going to use it strictly for traps. I don't know if it'll work like I was planning. I was thinking I could just stack all the 120s in here and close the lid, but we're not wide enough, I don't think. Oh well, regardless. And I got buckets of bait, and yeah. Well, I'll keep gathering some stuff up here, and we'll get her filled up. Well, she's coming along here. Got saw, file, some hammers, an axe, tape measure, some tape, a bunch of slings, some paper towel, chain come along, some ratchet straps. And then over on this side here, I just got some pliers and some nails and stuff. And over here we got a bunch of slings, clevises, some tools. Still got quite a bit more stuff to go. I'll throw a couple shovels in back there. I got a big cable I'll throw in here too. But yeah, I'll carry on here and I'll turn you back on, and then we'll probably go over and start loading some traps and our Marten boxes and all of our bait and get her all ready here. Well, start loading up a bunch of our traps here. Yeah. Lots of 120s, 160s. They were all done up this summer. All boiled and waxed and ready for action. wanted to take each one and, you know, close it up nice and put it in the side toolbox, but oh, I don't think they're gonna fit like I wanted to, so. Not sure how many I'm gonna need to get started here, but the more I throw in the truck, the more it's gonna get into a tangled mess too. Yeah, that'll be good. Throw a couple of these 330s in. Now there's probably 50 or 60 traps there. More than I'm gonna need for tomorrow. I'll be lucky if I get 20 or 30 set out. Truthfully, I'm not even sure where I'm gonna go to tomorrow. I got an idea. I had my one area I was going to. They logged the shit out of it this summer though, so that area I'm still gonna trap because there's gonna be a lot of fur in any of the existing bush that's around, because everything's displaced now, so there's gonna be, it'll be really good trapping there for this first year, and then after that it'll probably be pretty crappy, but we're gonna hit some of them areas. But yeah, I guess we'll head over to the other shed here and have a look at our Marten boxes and see what we can load up. Well, I guess I should. Some of these boxes, I don't know if they're any good to me right now. They're all for older style traps, maybe, some of them. And I got rid of all of my traps. And I replaced everything with 120 or 160 Belials. It was a bit of an investment, but you can't beat these traps. So I'm just gonna have to check some of these. Make sure the trap actually goes in the box. That one just fits. That one jumped up pretty high. Good thing I had the safeties on. And some of them are probably just, and I'm using, so I got these 120 Belials, 160 Belials, and then I got a whole bunch of these 155 Northwoods. And then 155 Northwoods fit really well in the plastic boxes. So here's your 120 box with a 120 Belial, and they just want to flip and flop and they don't want to stay in there. But these 155 Northwoods, they fit in there really well. Make sure these safeties are on. This is a pretty powerful trap too, this one. Yeah, and then you just put your springs up. That trap's not going anywhere. Whereas these 120 Bilals, you can't even get them to sit tight in there. I actually don't mind these plastic boxes. They stack pretty nice, and yeah. And I got some for the 160s. The 160 Bilal fits in there a little better in these plastic boxes. They hold itself quite a bit more. I was actually going to take like a 120 Bilal and in the 120 box, and I was going to heat the bottom of this jaws up where they sit down, heat them up, and then I was going to put it in the box and then make them melt into the plastic, and it'll make a divot, and then it might hold the trap a lot better, but I never got that far yet. It was just a thought. And then I have, I don't know if you guys ever use these plastic boxes. They're a foldable style. These are for, this one here's for a 160. But I got lots for a 120 and stuff. They're pretty handy. They just unfold and lay out flat. These are getting to be a few, I think that what this is, that corrugated plastic or whatever. But yeah, they all lay out flat like this. You get a big stack of them. They work pretty good, but you know, I probably bought these, well, I don't know, 2012, 2013, 2014, somewhere in there when the Marten craze was going on, and the Marten were big money, and it was always fun, you know, trying out different stuff. You could buy, you know, buy a couple dozen of these for what it costed to trap one Marten. Now if I can remember how these go back in. This guy goes, this one, and that one folded in. Done. And I never had anything chew the back out, or actually these things are holding up pretty good for probably 10 years old. And then I got some, I don't know if you guys ever use these cones. You just make a bait holder, which is pretty much a cross, and you nail the cross to the tree, and then you could have a nail sticking out and hang your bait on it, and then just slide your cone over the whole thing. And on the cross, it's a certain width, and you just set your trap right on it, and your trap goes on that piece of wood and it holds it there. They work pretty good too. I don't have any of them crosses built up, but oh yeah, I have these other ones here too. My kid laughed at me when I bought these, but I bought them back then, you know, different shows or different stuff. Cardboard Marten boxes. They actually work pretty good, but if you get like a really wet start of your season, yeah, your boxes don't don't fare too well. But a person could take these boxes and just spray paint them or paint them in the summertime. That little blast of spray paint on them. Yeah, it holds the conibear in there pretty darn good. But he was just laughing at me. He's like, Dad, you paid $5 a piece for cardboard? I just laughed. I'm like, yeah, well, whatever. If I catch one marten out of it, it paid for all of them. Which I did. I think I bought 2 dozen of them. But, you know, back then, too, I was probably running like 250 to 300 sets for marten. It was good. It was a lot of, we were doing like, we'd leave here and we'd do like a 70-kilometer loop and come back, you know, and then the next day we'd do a 50K loop over this way. It was good. We had a lot of iron out. We caught a lot of fur in them couple years. It was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna load this stuff up and I'll turn you guys back on here in a bit and have a look. Yeah, so as I'm going along, lots of these boxes I use wire mesh on them, but it don't take long and your staples come out. And guess as I'm loading them, I find one that needs a little work. I'll just fix it up. Actually, I'm going through this stuff here now, and there's actually a lot of boxes that are missing at screens, and some are rotted right out. And I actually made probably, I don't know, 80 boxes 2 summers ago. That's the only thing, leaving everything in the bush all the time. Kind of run out of supplies when you go to a new area for a year. Because some of them areas that I trapped, I'm not going to trap again this year. I'll go back to next year, but the trap and the box are all still there, and I don't want to go back and pick them all up. That's where it was kind of nice. Like, I had my routes that I would do every second year or whatever, right? And it worked great until they logged this whole damn area out. Now I'm, you know, going to new areas, and I got to load up new gear and try out. And then a lot of these new areas too, they're logging them right now. I'll show you guys when we get up over there tomorrow and start up for the martens. I'll show you some of their logging operation that they've done. They've cleared out a lot of land, and it's sad to see. But then they've been other spots too, and they're just doing little pieces that are like, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 acres, 20 acres kind of thing. And up there is, I don't know, it's probably a couple thousand acres. But we'll carry on. Here's this box though. I don't know. Trap fits, so that's good. And then sometimes instead of the screen, I'll just use a chunk of wood in the back. These are 160 box. They should have been a little longer. They're pretty short, but I think I was just using some scrap plywood at the time, so it is what it is. I'm getting to some of these other boxes that, you know, probably were picked up last year, the year before. And they're probably, these were for these older style traps. Whereas these new Belials, the roll in the steel there, they don't fit no more. These boxes will still be good for, you know, weasels or mink or whatever. I'd have to go dig around and find some other traps that'll fit in them boxes, and I don't know if I have any more. I probably do, somewhere. But for right now, I'm not too worried. Well, she's filling up. We got about 60 boxes there. I'm sure we have plenty enough traps. The only thing I might go grab is some more of these 155 Northwoods. Because I got a few plastic boxes. What is there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. A dozen for sure. And then back here, there's a whole bunch more boxes too. Lots of them are missing their screen off the back, and I'm sure lots of these ones here are too small. Yeah, here's some more boxes for the 160s, but they don't got no mesh on the back. I think these ones here, when I go and fix them, I'll just put some wood in them. But a lot of these old boxes, you can still use them for mink and weasels, because you can use these old style traps still. I don't even know what this one was. Probably that might be like a 120 Bridger, that one. In fact, I think it is. Yep, 120 Bridger. These ones are pretty good, man. The jaws close tight on them. They're good for weasels too. So yeah. Well, we're just about getting her here. Let's go look over in the other shed. I don't know if I even want to look in here. Not a whole bunch in here for Marten boxes. That's for sure. Lots of rat float boards, and oh yeah, there's one of my homemade traps. I'll grab this plastic box here, and I'll grab this homemade trap, and I'll show you guys it. So here's my homemade trap, box trap. I built these, and they're just a self-contained unit. And I would just use, like, if there's a culvert or something like that along the road, I could just slip this in the culvert when it's all froze up or whatever. It was great for mink and weasels. So it usually has a screw here or whatever, and then just the lid slides over. Now you got a self-contained bait compartment that, you know, all your bait's in here. Nothing can get the bait, not even the mice. And then here I got here's my trigger. My dog is down here. Here's my kill bar. And then I got a big trampoline spring that I cut down, and, you know, so it would fit in here. But yeah. So you just put your trigger down. You grab your dog. There it's set, and old Mr. Mink comes up, and in he goes, and down he's done. Yeah, they hit down pretty good. That old trampoline spring's got some jam to it. Actually, I'm going to take this with me, and over at that bridge there where I was trapping the beavers on the crossover, there's mink turds all over on the rocks there, so it'd be a good spot to put this guy here. I made these, and I caught mink years ago, and it was a different trap than this one, but that was a long time ago. Be neat to put it back out to work again. I made some that were bigger too, that, you know, were for Marten and stuff, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use them or not, because here where I'm at, we gotta follow a trapping standard for humane kills and stuff. So that's where a lot of these traps that we have here, they're a certified trap. So if it don't follow under the guidelines through the through the trapping regs, and it's an uncertified trap and you're using it, you're gonna get yourself into some big trouble. So I just took anything that was not certified and I got rid of all of it. So everything I own is certified, so I don't ever have that problem now. But yeah, just thought I'd show you guys. I forgot all about these. I think I made probably, oh, I probably made a dozen of them. I got one brand new one that's, you know, was kind of like a prototype that I was hoping would maybe go somewhere one day, but they're pretty handy. You can just, you know, I even took sometimes and I put an eye hook here, and I had a big long stick with a bent nail in the end, and I could just hook it and put it down in the culvert and set it down, and then there was no footsteps, no nothing, so nobody even knew that I'd walk down there. Because sometimes, you know, theft is a big problem, and I don't know what it is. A person sees a trap and they're like, oh look, a trap, we got to take it, and they have no clues what they're taking or anything. I even had people stealing my snares, like a 50-cent lynx snare. Like, they thought they needed it more than I did, I guess. So I'll get this wrapped up here. I'll probably take this back over to the shed, and then I got all my bait buckets I've been saving over there from all the beavers. Been just cutting the beavers up into chunks for Marten bait and hiding them over there away from the dogs, because the dogs won't stay out of the stuff. Dogs and beavers, I don't know, they just love them. But I'll see you guys back over at the shed here in a few. Well, she's all loaded up. That's a bucket of beaver pieces, and then this bucket here is a whole bunch of bear meat. Some bear meat, some bear fat. Well, I think I have everything here now. I'll call her good. If I need more, it's just, I'm set here with the basics right now to get me running, and I'm sure in the next day, few days, I'm going to be like, oh, I need to put this in here, and, you know, there'll be other stuff. I still got a big spool of cable over here, some 3/8 cable, and I got to cut it in half, and then make two great big long toe slings out of it still too. And I like to have, you know, a whole bunch of these, because when we shoot a moose or an elk or something, and it's way back in there's so many cut lines and so many roads out here that, you know, if I have, you know, a few 100 feet of cable, I can just hook up and just drag it out, and it's came in handy numerous times. So I'll have to put that in here too. I don't know I'll probably do that in a couple days. I'll have to clear these Marten boxes out. So I guess when we come back, I'm gonna have to clean the back of the 1 ton out, take my water tanks out, and then I'll load my quad and hook the trailer up to the 1 ton. Then we're ready to roll. So anyways, I'm gonna go inside and grab a snack quick, and let's go over and check these beaver traps. Well, we made her down to the beaver spot. I see my first trap doesn't have anything in it, but we'll go have a look. I'll show you what I got going on. So the first trap I got down below the culverts here. You're probably not ever going to catch anything, but right there's a 330. I don't know if you guys watch any of my other videos. I had a Marten box right there. I think it was last year. Caught a pile of weasels there. But let's go check over on the other side of the road. Well, here's the beaver spot here. They've dug this culvert up numerous times this year and cleaned it out. Yeah, when we first showed up here, there was a big old beaver sitting there. But I got my first trap right here. It's a foothold. So I don't know if it's made a catch or not. And hey, we have no trap here. You can see my cable down there. It's on a slide wire, so I don't see the trap here. So we'll have to pull this guy up. See what we caught. But let's go down this way here first. And we'll go check this other 330 and see what went on with it. We'll come back to this one here in a minute. Yeah, they kind of have this little channel going along the edge here, but they have more of a main channel. And it's going back up this way to where they're getting all of their trees from, all their poplar. I have my doubts that anything got caught back here, but it was kind of, I put a trap in the channel and then put a dive stick over top. And I did put some lure down here too. But this is where they've been coming and getting all their food from. No, this one's still set. See the trap still under there? But there's that channel. I just thought, you know, if something comes this way, it's worth a try, because they're probably still wanting to get some sticks and stuff. But that one's still good. Well, let's head back over to the foothold and we'll pull it up and see what we got. Yeah, I don't know, as you guys seen there, there's a beaver here. I got an audience. Hope he doesn't come attack me when I'm pulling up his mate or something. Well, we made a catch. It's a small beaver, hind foot catch. In the MB 750. Yeah, I wonder if it's even worth resetting this here. I'll reset it and throw it back in. Screw it. That other beaver, he's still right over here. I could shoot that beaver, but I have no way of getting him. Well, let's get this guy reset. Get a little worried when the other beaver's swimming around here and has no fear. Oh, he's right fucking here. He's just busting ice right here in front of me. Still don't trust my setters. A whole bunch. Well, she's set and ready for the next one. I think there's only two beavers, two adults in here and two of these little ones. But I'll leave them be for tonight, and we'll check them out again another day. Yeah, so I was going to end the video here, but there's an old cabin over here. I'll take you guys over, we'll have a look. It's made out of dirt. It's old. It's probably 80 years old, 100 years old. But since how we're here, we'll go check it out. Maybe 15 pounds. Little guy. So here we are out in this cut block. And back in the trees here is this big beaver dam. And I called it Wolf Lake because my snowmobile trail used to come right in. And I go on to there's just a big beaver dam. It's not a lake or nothing. And I'd put my bait there, and that's where I was trapping wolves, was right in here. But I never knew about this spot back in here of this old cabin until they were logging, and then they said that there was some kind of a historical site or something. So I found it back here. It's pretty neat. So let's walk in here and go check it out. Here you can start seeing the dirt structure here. See how somebody went and dug all the way around and flopped all the dirt up to build their walls out of. It was probably a lot of digging. But there's lots of old cans and stuff laying here. So who knows what the story is on this place, but it's pretty cool. We'll go over and check out the entry. Then we'll go over here and I'll show you the water. This would have been the entry point. Would have had a wall here, you know, and in the back there you can see they had logs there too for a wall. But the roof's all caved in. And if you go stand out in here, you can feel the hollowness underneath you. So it'd be kind of cool to go in there and dig that roof up and see what's underneath of here. I found this real cool old coffee pot here, and here's some other kind of pot. Like, yeah, you never know what's in here. Yeah, that back wall's probably 5 feet tall. Yeah, back in here, it looks like there's a log wall here too. And probably is a log wall here on the sides too. I can see logs right there too. But these old trees here, like, they're all old black spruce, so who knows? They're 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, these ones, and then take however long it took for the roof to deteriorate. This spot here could be 80 years old, 100 years old. Yeah, she's pretty spongy under there. But yeah, pretty neat. Be nice to know the history on this. Was an old trapper out here? Was it somebody running from the law, decided to live out in the backcountry? Because right now, as it is, I don't even know. We're probably 50 kilometers from town. So how did they get out here back in the day? You know, they ride in here with their horses or horse and buggy, because back then there's probably no roads or nothing back here. It was all just untamed wilderness. But yeah, it would have been a nice spot right here for sure. That old coffee cup, that big coffee cup I found, wow. Yeah, I could just picture the old guy going down to the water here and scooping a big scoop out and putting it over his fire to cook his coffee. Yeah, I'll take you guys down there in a minute here, but I'm gonna end this video here. So you guys, thanks for watching. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you hit it. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Got lots of trapping to do. Here's walking down to the water here from the entry point of the cabin there. I imagine all these trees would have been cleared out. He would have had himself a nice spot here. Big old beaver dam all the way along the shore there. Sierra, get out of there! Yeah, I seen it back in here before. Where I'm standing was all underwater. So it had quite a bit of water in here at one point. And this creek here, it all comes from a spring. And the spring's probably, I don't know, 2 miles from here, 1.5 miles. Yeah, nice little spot in here. It was good wolf trapping too. Over and out. Yeah, you never know.